A statement was made in Washington that could turn the tide of the war. An American senator openly stated the condition without which the United States will not allow the war in Ukraine to end. This is not a compromise, not a diplomatic hint, and not a backroom agreement. This is a tough and uncompromising position that has already ignited a swift and very powerful response in Moscow.
And now, more details in our report. You're watching the Glavrid channel, and I'm your host, Evgeny Serov. Like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, one of the most prominent and influential U.S. politicians in the field of national security and defense, stated explicitly, "The United States will support ending the war in the sovereign territory of Ukraine only under one key condition: Russia must not receive any reward for its aggression." According to him, this principle is the essential foundation of any real and lasting peace plan. Graham emphasized that simply stopping the fighting does not yet mean peace. If the war ends in such a way that the Kremlin retains the territories it has seized, achieves the lifting of sanctions, or gains political dividends, this will not be peace, but merely a pause before a new war. According to him, such a scenario would only encourage Russia and other authoritarian regimes to take new aggressive actions in the future. The American senator noted that the United States already has a sad historical experience, when past attempts to appease an aggressor led to even larger-scale conflicts. That is why, in his opinion, a peace agreement cannot be built on concessions to the side that started the war. A lasting and meaningful peace must be just, sustainable, and firmly rooted in the fundamental principles of international law. Graham made a point to specifically emphasize that any agreements to end the war must guarantee and safeguard Ukraine's long-term security. This is not just about a ceasefire, but about concrete, long-term security guarantees that will prevent another Russian invasion in the coming years. According to him, a weak and compromised peace would be a direct invitation to new aggression. The senator also reminded the public that the U.S. Congress plays a crucial key role in approving any important international agreements related to security and sanctions policy. Even if the president's administration proposes its own version of a peace plan, it cannot be implemented without the support of lawmakers, which means that Congress's position will be the decisive factor. According to American and European media, various options for a peaceful settlement have been actively discussed in recent months, from a phased ceasefire to more complex formats with international security guarantees for Ukraine. However, some of these proposals have faced serious criticism as they allowed for the freezing of the front line or the de facto recognition of the Russian occupation. It is precisely these scenarios that Lindsey Graham opposes. He emphasizes that a frozen conflict is not a solution, but a postponed war. According to his assessment, if Russia leaves the conflict without facing significant and tangible consequences, it will inevitably use the pause to rebuild its military strength and prepare for a new strike. Experts note that the Ukrainian position largely coincides with the approach of the American senator. Kyiv has repeatedly stated that peace is only possible with the restoration of territorial integrity, sovereignty, and the presence of reliable security guarantees. Any agreements that do not take these principles into account are viewed in Ukraine as dangerous and unacceptable. Against the backdrop of these statements, it becomes clear the U.S. position is increasingly drawing a firm red line. The war must conclude in such a way that Russia is unable to portray the result as a victory or even a partial strategic success. This concerns not only territorial issues, but also sanctions, international isolation, and the political consequences for the Kremlin itself. Experts emphasize that such an approach by the United States matters not only for Ukraine, but for the entire system of global security, as other authoritarian regimes in different regions of the world might try to repeat it. The situation remains dynamic. Negotiations in the process are ongoing. However, the position voiced in Washington makes it clear the United States is not ready to support peace at any cost. The price of such a peace, if it benefits the aggressor, could prove too high not only for Ukraine, but for the entire world.